So I think the three things are when people, when women, and especially as we age, it's around being safe when we travel. Uh, it's around loneliness. I'm going to be all on my own. So not even the awkwardness. I'm going to be on my own with my own thoughts and doing things. And then the third thing that those comes out of those two is to have the confidence, like you said, to have the confidence to sit in a restaurant and like, who gives a toss? Who's staring at me on my own at this table? I don't know you. I probably, even if I met you for 2 minutes, I'll never see you, meet you again. So it's having that confidence, which again is no different, Nat. I'm a coach. So I do like this particular framework. It's a high performance one. There's really kind of 3 layers to confidence. And it's like, do I have the confidence to figure things out? Meaning I don't have to do it. Like, it's kind of like in your house. Do I have the confidence to figure out that maybe the plumbing's gone wonky because the toilet's not flushing? I have the confidence to figure out that, I can figure out that I need a plumber. I don't need to be the plumber. Number 2 is having the confidence to learn new skills. I'll come back to that in a moment. And number 3 is having the confidence to reach out, connect, ask for help, and seek out support and connection, kind of that social aspect. And those 3 aspects of confidence, I realize, again, I realize that the parallels are no different for when it comes to, gosh, can I actually really book that trip and go on it? And so and with those 3 things, you can then allay the loneliness and the safety factor and actually kick back and actually really have a good time.
A little bit of though the judgment, right?
Oh,
I think
yes.
the big fear of being a single woman walking into a restaurant or a bar and you just want a glass of wine and a decent meal, um, whether you're in your hometown or whether you're traveling, is what will people think if I
Yeah.
come sit at the bar, right? Because, well, if I'm a woman and I'm sitting at a bar and I order a drink and a dinner, are all the men gonna at the bar thinking I'm looking for company? Are all the other women at the bar thinking I'm looking for company? Because let's face it,
Mhm.
we fear the judgment of other women more than we fear the judgment of men. And to your point, there's a safety thing about that. That I wonder for you in your travels, was there ever a, I don't know, a trick you used or a mantra or something like that that had you kind of walk into that restaurant with your head up and not, and kind of brushing off, I guess, the concern or putting a boundary up around the fear that you're being judged in some negative way?
Yeah, and for me, and I had the, in some ways the luxury, like I was 20 years, I was a road warrior, flying across the country or to other countries to work every week as a consultant. And so that I was on my own a lot in that aspect. But, for so many of those years, I did the classic thing. Oh, I'll order room. I'm just going to use the eating out thing because that is a big thing for women
It is.
traveling. And especially I think even as we age, it becomes, for some reason we become even more sensitive to the judgment that we perceive. So for so many years when I was a road warrior, I was order the room service, order the takeout and go down to reception to pick it up and
Yeah.
sneak it back to my room, eating, excuse my language, crap food,
Oh yeah.
because I didn't want to go out and sit at a restaurant. So I went through this progression and it's like, well, how do women accelerate that through that now? Because I'll give you the recent example. I spent 5 weeks in Thailand recently. And in that, I had 2 stints in Bangkok. And my whole thing was it had this amazing rooftop patio, restaurant, bar on the 33rd floor, like amazing views. And I chose that hotel because I wanted that experience. But when I got there, I still had the old, oh, I got to make a reservation and go up there on my own.
Mhm.
And so, number one, I'm a big fan of when it comes to women traveling on their own. My number one tip is stay in good accommodation for so many different reasons. It's a safety thing, it's a confidence thing, it's a support thing. Your concierge is your best, your next best friend, especially when you're traveling. So, number one, as I thought, I have to commit. Like anything else we do in life. And I thought, I'm going to go down to that concierge and ask, what do I need to do to get a reservation? So now I have the reservation and I'm committed, but I'm still sitting in my room an hour before I needed to go out and step in the elevator and just go up another 20 floors. And I was still thinking of backing out.
Mhm.
So I think what I'm expressing here is those thoughts, those feelings will not go away. It's to your point, what am I going to do in the moment? And so there are three things. I'm always in one that works in 1, 2, 3s. Number one is I love Mel Robbins' 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just do it. You
Yeah.
count down those 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in your head, and you just step out the door before your brain can try and shove another judgmental thought in your head. Number two, when I'm traveling, I constantly have to remind myself, I made this choice to come here. So why am I here? What's the outcome I want? And if I don't do this now, I don't get a redo. I don't get a do-over. When I get on that plane and go home, that was it. I've blown my chance. And so I always come back to why am I here? What's my objective? And then the third thing, honestly, is I do rely on good staff and support. And one of the things that I've learned, more and more is restaurants will go out of their way to actually help women on their own. And that doesn't mean sitting you in a little corner by the kitchen door, anymore. It's so literally, I thought, you know what? They're going to make me comfortable. I don't have to bear the total burden of making myself comfortable. So up I go to the 33rd floor. And even when I stepped out of the elevator, I'm thinking, come on, really? I want to scuttle. And you know what? They took me to a lovely table, positioned me so I had my back somewhat to everyone behind me, but not completely. So I was now in my own little bubble, and that got me to a place